Hello, okay, so I'm back again, and today, as you can tell, we'll be discussing logarithms. Now, what are logarithms and blah blah, we'll go over everything. But, most commonly, I have log underlined because that's usually what it's going to be called. We're just going to shorten it up to log, and that's what I'm going to call it for most of the time. But just know that when I refer to log, I'm referring to logarithms. They're the exact same thing, I'm just condensing it just like most math people do. Okay, so what does log do and what la-di-da, what is it for? Well, logarithm, uh, let's start a little bit before. Let's not talk about logarithm just yet. When you have something like this, yx equals b, how do you get rid of the x to have just y? That's right, you divide it. So you have y equals b over x. We know how to do that. That's elementary. Well, it's like middle school. So this is elementary though. What if we have y plus x equals b? How do we get rid of x? Well, we subtract it. So then we end up with y equals b minus x. Once again, extremely elementary. Now, let's complicate this a little bit more. What if we have y equals b to the power of x? How do we figure out what x is? Well, this is where a log comes in. Or if we have, just to keep with the examples, y to the power of x equals b. How do we get x to this side? Now, log is the inverse of exponentials. Just like I showed, subtraction is to addition and division is the inverse of multiplication. But this is just dealing with exponentials and logs. So now this part I definitely need you to write down. This is maybe the most important part of log that you'll ever see. So the core of logarithms boils down to y equals b times b to the power of x is the same as log base b of y equals x. Now, I'm going to put this part in a square because it's extremely important. You have to write this down. Without exception, this you will not be able to remember. It has to be written down. If it's on a napkin, a paper towel, if it's on the toilet paper, I don't care. It has to be written down somewhere. Now, when we go into logs, there's going to be two different types of logs. Later on in my next video, we're going to go into different rules and stuff with log, but to break it down to its simplest form, there's two types of logarithms. There's basic log, and this is the type of log you're going to see on your calculator, the one where it says the LOG button. This is basic log, and we'll put this on the left. And then it's also called common log. It's basic and common, one and the same. And then there's just good old regular logarithms. Now, don't get this confused. Basic or common log is the button on your calculator. Regular log with different bases is not on your calculator. So just make sure you remember that. It's extremely important. Now, what is basic or common log? Basic log is log base 10. So, let's go over some quick terminology for you guys. Here, this b under log, that's your base. Now, it's the same as this b right over here. So, if b is going to the power of x to equal y, you just take log b as the base, y, and that'll give you the same answer as x. We'll go over some examples so you can see. Now, for regular log with the different bases, for example, let's do 6 to the power of 3. Now, if you put this into your calculator, it's going to turn out to be 216. Now, if we figure this out as a logarithm, it's going to need to be log base 6 216, and this equals 3. Now what this is doing is you're saying if we have the answer 216 and we want to find the power that is needed for 6 to get this answer, we just do this logarithm and we get 3 because 3 was our exponent. And that's what we're trying to figure out, is usually what's x. And x is generally going to be here. Now, another example, let's do it the inverse way. So, log, let's do base 4, and then let's do 1024. Now, this will equal 5. Now, as you can see from earlier, you can already tell the answer to what the other equation would be, the exact identical equation. This, because see, here the 6, our base, is our main number right here. So instead here, our main number is going to be 4. And we're trying to find the power with a logarithm, so here, this will be 5. And if you plug this into your calculator, you'll see that 4 to the 5th power is in fact 1024. Now, all of this you can do on your calculator, and it's pretty complicated, and we'll go over it in future videos. And also, your book does an excellent job of describing how to do it on a TI calculator. Now, if you're doing this with a Casio, I have no experience with Casio calculators. You'll have to ask around some of the other students. Some seniors worked with Casios since their sophomore year, and they could really help you describe to you what you need to do for these. Now, basic log, or common log, is found on, I think, every single calculator after a scientific calculator. Scientific calculators also have common logs generally. So a common log is just always base 10. So log base 10 and let's say 100. Now, this is going to equal 2 because we all know that 10 squared equals 100. Now, instead of having to worry about writing it all like this, if you just write log of 100 equals 2, everybody's going to infer that you're using the 10 as your base, because common log is, well, obviously the most common. So you don't have to worry about writing base 10 or anything. You can just put log of whatever number. So now if we put equals 100, we can already tell how we're going to write this because I just wrote this. We have the 10, which is going to go right here. It's the base, but we don't need to write it because it's common log. The 2 is our answer, and then the 100 goes right here because we're trying to figure out what would make it 100. Now, my next video is going to be much more complex, and we're going to dive deeper into logarithms. But just for now, this is the basic baby steps into logarithms and what's needed and what we're going to do. And I still cannot stress this enough. This part right here must be written down. If not, I can guarantee you'll have difficulties with logarithms forever. You must write this down. Well, I guess I'll see you in my next video. And happy math skills, I guess. I'll see you guys later.